In this video, we will show you how to file a cigarette distributor and importer tax report. We protect all the confidential information you provide to us. First, go to the website cdtfa.ca.gov and at the top, click on Login. That will take you to the Online Services login page. You must log in with a username and password. If you don't have a username or password and need assistance, please watch our tutorials online. On the CDTFA Online Services login page, we will enter your username and password. Then click Login. On the Online Services profile page, under the Accounts tab, we will click on the Cigarette Distributor and Importer hyperlink. This will take us to the Cigarette Distributor and Importer account page. Under the Periods tab, find the return period for which you would like to file. In our example, we will file for the month of August 2021, which is displayed by its return end date of August 31st, 2021. Click on the File Return hyperlink. After selecting the reporting period, you will arrive at the Method of Filing page, where you will select the method you will be using to file your cigarette distributor importer report. In our example, we will select the electronic form entry, which is the most common method used for filing this report. After selecting the method of filing, we will then click Next to continue. You will be brought to the Initial Questions and File Attachment page to answer a question regarding your reporting activity. If you received, dispersed, and/or stamped any product during the month, you will select Yes. Selecting Yes requires you to complete a CDTFA 810 CTF disbursement and/or a CDTFA 810 CTI receipt schedule using a flat file attachment. Note, if you stamped product, make sure to include Tax Jurisdiction Code F in your flat file attachment. We have developed an Excel template that you can use to convert transaction records to a flat file. To download the template, click here. The Excel file will be downloaded onto your computer. Open the file. You will need to enable the macros associated with the Excel spreadsheet. Click the Enable Content button. The Excel file has two tabs, Instructions and Transaction. On the Instructions tab, you will find general information on completing the Transaction tab and instructions on creating the flat file. On the Transaction tab, you will enter in the required information. Click on the Transaction tab. Enter the required information. After entering the required information, click on the Instructions tab. Click on the cell that says Press Enter to create Scheduled Transaction FLT file. Then press the Enter button on your keyboard. A header information window will appear. Enter in your account number, filing period start date, and filing period end date. After entering the header information, click OK. Please note, if there are errors with the information you entered in the Transaction tab, an error message window will appear. The errors will be highlighted in red on the Transaction tab. You will be required to fix these errors before you can create your flat file. If there are no errors, you will then be prompted to save the flat file on your computer. Save the file. After saving the file, return to the Initial Questions and File Attachment page. Click on the Add button. After selecting Add, you will select the type of file you are adding from the drop-down. For our example, we will select the Cigarette Tax Flat File, May 2020 periods and after. After selecting the file type, enter a description for your file. You can enter any description you like. We do not have any file naming conventions. For our example, we have entered a description for our file as August 2021. Then click the Choose File button to upload your flat file. Next, click the Save button. Your file will now appear under the Attachments section. If you added the wrong file, you can click the Remove hyperlink and re-add the correct file. After uploading the flat file, proceed by clicking Next. On the Cigarette Stock and Tax Summary page, you will begin by reporting the total number of cigarettes, both without stamps affixed and with stamps affixed, that were held in your inventory on the first day of the reporting period. If this is your first report, you will leave these amounts as 0. If this is not your first report, the amount should be pre-filled and match the figures entered from your ending inventory on your previous month's report. For this example, we had 1 million cigarettes without stamps affixed and 2 million cigarettes with stamps affixed in our beginning inventory. The total number of cigarettes that were received during the reporting period, with and without stamps affixed, will be automatically populated with the figures entered on your uploaded flat file. Once you have finished entering your inventory at the beginning of the reporting period, you will then enter the number of cigarettes held in your inventory on the last day of the reporting period. In this example, we will enter an ending inventory of 700,000 cigarettes without stamps affixed and 650,000 cigarettes with stamps affixed. Exempt distributions or product that was returned or destroyed represent non-taxable transactions. These amounts will be automatically populated with the figures entered on your uploaded flat file. If you choose, you can save your work at any time by clicking the Save Draft button. Enter your password. Then click OK. You will be directed to a confirmation page. Now that you've saved your draft, let's go back to filing your return. Click the Continue Editing button. Now we are back to your return. After completing the cigarette stock and tax summary page, click Next to continue filing. On the stamp account for calendar month page, you will begin by reporting the tax value of unaffixed stamps and the tax value of stamps affixed to packages that were held in your inventory on the first day of the reporting period. If this is your first report, you will leave these amounts as zero. If this is not your first report, the amount should be pre-filled and match the figures entered from your ending inventory on your previous month's report. For this example, we had $143,500 of unaffixed stamps and $287,000 of stamps affixed to packages in our beginning inventory. In our example, the tax value of tax-paid cigarettes received was $71,750, and we also purchased 2 large rolls of stamps during the month for $172,200. After entering the tax value of your stamp beginning inventory, stamp purchases, and tax-paid cigarettes received, you will then enter the tax value of stamps held in your inventory on the last day of the reporting period. In this example, we will enter an ending inventory value of $265,475 of unaffixed stamps and $93,275 of stamps affixed to packages. If you have any unusable stamps, affixed or unaffixed, for which a claim has been filed, enter it here. We do not have any unusable stamps and will leave the zero amount as is. Click Next to continue. Review your summary page. If you need to make an adjustment, click Previous. If the information displayed on the page is correct, click Next. On the Your Information page, review the pre-filled information and make changes if necessary. Enter your title. When all required fields are completed, click Submit. When you click Submit, a window will appear to confirm your intent to file electronically and that your return is true, correct, and complete. Please read this information carefully. Enter your password and click OK to submit. This will serve as your authorization and confirmation. You will not receive a confirmation email. This confirmation page represents your report filing only. Please take note of your confirmation number. We recommend that you print this page for future reference. To print your submitted report, click on the Print Return button. If you still have questions, please call our Customer Service Center at 1-800-400-7115, California Relay Service at 711.